Tonight, the Steelers play their first preseason game of the 2025 season against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And today on Steelers Talk, we're going to be breaking down my players to watch for the black and gold. I got 20 of them to watch for tonight. There's certainly going to be a lot to watch as a Steelers fan as this team lines up against Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars in Duval. But before we get into the content today, guys, join us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time tonight for our live watch party. Of course, it kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're going to be going live an hour before to preview the game. We'll be doing Super Chat giveaways, doing all that fun stuff that we usually do on our watch parties. And we haven't had a watch party since January, guys, so it's going to be a lot of fun with the Yinzers tonight. So if you want to join us, feel free to join us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And make sure you click that subscribe button as well to never miss a live show or watch party this season. We're going to be live at least twice a week, every single week leading up to every single game, which of course will be live for our live watch party. So if you guys want the most immersive experience for Steelers fans anywhere here on YouTube, click that subscribe button and help us get to that 90,000 subscriber mark. All right, so a little bit of a fair warning for tonight, guys. A ton of starters are going to be out. All right, and, I think that this is a good move by Mike Tomlin. I don't think these preseason games are overly that important because defenses don't play their normal defensive schemes. It's mostly just, vanilla coverages. So guys like Aaron Rodgers don't need to be out there. But here's the full list of players that will not be playing tonight. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Will Howard, of course, is out with a finger injury. Jaylen Warren will not be playing. DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin are the two receivers that will not be out there. Calvin's still dealing with a minor injury. Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith will not be out there. Isaac Seumalo and Calvin Anderson are the two offensive linemen that won't be out there tonight. Chris Boswell, the kicker, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward is still dealing with a little bit of a contract dispute. Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Patrick Queen, and Deshaun Elliott are some other defensive players that won't be playing. And then in the secondary, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr., Corey Trice Jr., and Dante Kent won't be on the field. So that is 21 players that will not be on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight that are currently on their 90-man roster. And then on the other hand, especially early on in the game, it might be advantage Jacksonville because Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, all their starters, it seems like, are going to be out there, the ones that aren't injured. Liam Coen, the first-year head coach, wants to set the tone here in preseason week 1 and have his quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, show him what he can do. But there's still a ton to watch for as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan tonight, guys. Like, there's still a lot of young players, still a lot of players that are on the bubble that are going to be worth watching. So without further ado here, guys, let's get into my list here of players that you should be watching tonight. And the number one guy I'm watching tonight, guys, is Kaleb Johnson, the rookie running back out of Iowa. He's going to be making his first game action as a Pittsburgh Steeler with Jaylen Warren out of the lineup. That means I think we'll see Kaleb quite a bit. I think that in these preseason games, Arthur Smith, Mike Tomlin, they're going to want to see, how good Kaleb Johnson is right away. They're going to give him some outside zone run scheme looks early in this game. And, I think that this offense might be getting a look at the future tonight. All right. Like, this guy has a chance to be, the star running back of this offense and really the linchpin of the entire Steelers offense this year, especially once we get down the stretch towards the end of the season where Kaleb might be taking more true running back one type of reps. He's the type of guy in this type of wide zone running scheme that can be an absolute monster, and I'm hoping we see a good night from Kaleb Johnson in his first game action as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Another guy I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on tonight is Roman Wilson, the second-year receiver, essentially rookie receiver, though, out of Michigan. Didn't play really at all in his rookie season for obvious injury reasons. He had a hamstring issue. He had an ankle issue as well. But he's been really hot in Steelers training camp practices this week, specifically with Aaron Rodgers, so it'll be interesting to see how his connection is with the other Steelers quarterbacks, but I think he will play quite a bit. The Steelers probably want to see what he can do in stadium, and they're putting a lot of faith in him to be kind of their number 2 wide receiver of sorts. Now, I would say Calvin Austin III is their second best true receiver, but he's tiny and he doesn't bring you any value as a run blocker, so they would prefer to have a guy like Roman Wilson that can come in their 12 personnel package packages and come in on early downs and be that run blocker opposite of DK Metcalf in the wide receiver room. But you can't trust Roman on the field if he doesn't have a connection with Rodgers, if he can't make plays in an actual game setting. So these preseason games and the joint practice versus Tampa Bay later in the preseason, it's going to be really important for Roman Wilson to prove that he can be this team's number 2 wide receiver of sorts, and I'm excited to see what he looks like tonight. Then we get to Roc Taylor. UDFA receiver out of Memphis. He has been the star of the third-team offense in Steelers training camp practices to this point. He's got excellent size. He tracks the ball extremely well in the air. He's been making a bunch of downfield receptions. Seems like every single practice he has a 15-yard dig route or two, and then he also catches back shoulders. Like, once we get into the second half today, Roc Taylor might be the guy to watch for the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout tonight's game. I just think that Roc needs the ball out in the preseason if he's going to have any chance of making the final roster. All right, I think the person he probably has to beat out on this roster is probably either Scotty Miller or Robert Woods. I think that he's going to have to show out tonight to kind of catch the eye of Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith, and hopefully maybe if he does, he gets some looks with the second-team offense or with the first-team offense a little bit more than what he has been so far in camp. So it's still an uphill battle for Roc Taylor, but if he's going to make the final roster like a lot of Steelers fans want him to, he's going to have to perform in stadium, and that starts tonight. Then we get to another receiver here in Scotty Miller, who's had a good camp to this point. He's gotten a lot of first-team reps with Calvin Austin III out of the lineup. He's been kind of playing Calvin's role in the offense in recent practices. And, he's been looking really good. He's been making some tough catches. He's got really great ball tracking ability down the field. That's what he's been known as in the league, is he's been a true deep threat. He's got great speed. So there might be a long touchdown to Scotty Miller tonight. That's just what he does. So just keep your eye out for Scotty. Then Darnell Washington. He's been one of the stars of Steelers training camp to this point. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's as big as an offensive lineman, but he's still athletic enough to be able to jump high in the air, high point footballs, and he's also fast enough to be able to run with the football if he gets ahead of steam. So he's somebody I'm really excited to watch this season, and the fact that he'll be playing tonight is probably going to be one of the more entertaining elements of the Steelers offense. And then another tight end that I'm excited to watch play is J.J. Galbraith, and it'll probably be Roc Taylor and Galbraith are the two offensive weapons that I will be keeping a close eye on once we get into the second half tonight. Galbraith has just continuously made plays. It's like he makes 3 or 4 nice catches in the team period every single day of practice. He's somebody that I think will probably end up making the practice squad as somebody that can come in if one of the 4 tight ends I expect to make this final roster gets hurt. But he's certainly somebody that's been good playing with that third-team offense to this point. So predict it for me down there in the comment section. Which Steelers weapon is going to steal the show tonight? Is it Scotty Miller? Is it Kaleb Johnson? Is it Roman Wilson? Roc Taylor? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section for today's pin question. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about an awesome opportunity that you guys have on today's show. But before we get into that, go down there in the comment section and let me know which Steelers weapon you think is going to make the biggest splash tonight. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here, where you guys can get this awesome Pittsburgh Steelers hoodie from our friends. When you go to chatsports.com/Pitt hoodie, that link is down there in the comments and description of today's show. And guys, not only do I really like the design of this hoodie, got the black there with the golden, interior of the hood, but you also got the logo, he got the block letters on there. It's also 50% off. So if you guys want a new Steelers hoodie, 50% off today, guys. All you have to do is use our link, chatsports.com/Pitt hoodie, and make a purchase. Shifting now to the offensive line, Troy Fautano, the second-year player out of Washington. And just like Roman Wilson, Fautano didn't get much of a rookie season. He only played in 1 game, just like Roman did. He looked good in that 1 game, but, it was a very disappointing thing to see him go down with that knee injury last year. He's had a very good camp. He's had a very good week of practice. I'm really excited to see what he looks like against NFL competition outside of T.J. Watt in this preseason game. But, similarly to Troy Fautano, Broderick Jones is also going to be a very important piece to this starting offensive line, and he will be playing tonight. And, in preseasons past, Jones has not looked good. In fact, he's looked really bad. And that has kind of foreshadowed him not playing well in the regular season. So hopefully tonight he can put some of those concerns to rest. He had a slow start to camp, but he's had a really good week of practice. He's going to be one of the people I'm keeping a very close eye on in the first half of this football game. But then in the second half at offensive tackle, Dylan Cook will probably get a lot of first-team left tackle reps. Well, I guess it's not first team. It's just the guys out there, during that second half. But Dylan Cook has had a really good start to camp as well. He's had opportunities to play with the first-team offense with Broderick Jones dealing with a groin injury, and he's looked pretty darn good. And, if Broderick, God forbid, goes down with an injury or if he's just god-awful, Dylan Cook would probably be the next guy up on my list that I would want to be out there at this point. So we'll see how he does in the second half of this ball game. And then Mason McCormick will be getting some looks at right guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And, this will be a big season for McCormick. And we've talked about Fautano, Jones, and McCormick being three really big question marks for this offensive line and for this team in general. If those three guys play well for this team this year, I think the sky's the limit for what they can do this season. But if those three guys, or if two out of those three guys end up failing or not playing well, that's probably going to put a ceiling on what the Steelers offense can be this year. So this, young group of offensive linemen need to show out here. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you are excited about tonight, I haven't done a watch party for the Steelers guys since January and that terrible loss to the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be exciting here to be back with you guys on a live show and just talk some Steelers football. It's going to be great. So click that thumbs up icon if you're as excited as we are for the preseason opener. All right, so now we get to the defense here. We got James Pierre, who's had a really good start to camp, multiple interceptions. He's been playing a lot with the first-team offense with Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay missing some time this week. So he's going to be somebody that probably gets a lot of run tonight, and I'm excited to see what he can do out there. Also, Brandon Echols will probably be the other starting corner for this team heading into this preseason game, and he's been playing in the slot. He's been playing outside. He's looked good in both, so to watch that starting cornerback duo tonight I think will be fun. Then Beanie Bishop Jr. will also be in the slot tonight. He's looked good too. I don't think that he's had a ton of splash. I would say last year he probably made more plays on the football, which is one of the reasons why he ended up making the final roster and was this team's week 1 starting slot last year. But he's going to have a really good camp here to hold off Dante Kent, who was a draft pick for this team this year. Then Sebastian Castro, the UDFA safety out of Iowa. He's had his up moments and he's had his down moments in camp so far, but I really liked his tape at Iowa, and he should get quite a bit of playing time tonight. So excited to see what Castro can do. And then Chuck Clark is going to get some time in this preseason game, and I'm excited to see what he can do as well. He's had a really good start to camp. The Steelers coaching staff just raves about his football character, his football intelligence, his ability to play both in the box at strong safety and then also free safety as well. So he should get quite a bit of run tonight as well. And before we get into my final 5 players to watch, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Daily Steelers videos on this channel for free, breaking news coverage, whatever the con artist makes a big move, weekly live shows, including weekly watch parties for every single Steelers game. It's all 100% free to join, guys. So click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we'll get into my final 5 names to watch here, starting with tonight's green dot with the first-team defense, Peyton Wilson. Okay, Patrick Queen is not playing. He is your normal green dot, but Mike Tomlin said part of the reason why he's sitting Patrick Queen down is because he wants to see how Peyton Wilson can do as the green dot in stadium. Now, Wilson's had quite a few days where he's been the green dot for the first team defense because Patrick Queen's had some veteran days off. But this will be the first time Wilson will have to do this in stadium. So it'll be interesting to see if Peyton can handle that responsibility if called upon. With Patrick Queen, I think that this is probably his only contract that he'll get with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it'll be Peyton Wilson's job to do that and be the quote-unquote quarterback of the offense, as Mike Tomlin likes to call it, in future seasons. So it'll be good to see him in that role tonight. Then Cole Holcomb. Haven't seen Cole Holcomb play in a football game, in over a year. Okay, like that Thursday night game where he had that gruesome knee injury on Thursday Night Football versus the Titans, man. Like, some people were questioning whether he was ever going to play NFL football again. But now he's back. It'll be great to see him out there. Jack Sawyer, the outside linebackers, had a terrific camp. Has exceeded expectations. I think, if he can go out there and he can get a sack tonight, that would be very, very exciting for this fan base. Apparently, he's picked up quite a few tricks from T.J. Watt and Nick Herbig and Alex Highsmith, and that's exactly what he needs. Then you get to Derek Harmon and Y.A. Black, the 2 rookie defensive tackles, to finish out my list here. These 2 guys have just been unbelievably good to start camp, okay? Derek Harmon, has been the disruptor, and then Y.A. Black has been the stone wall, so to speak. All right, so Harmon's the guy that's creating that initial disruption, in the backfield, getting quarterbacks to get rid of the football, and create opportunities for others. And then Y.A. Black, even though he's a completely different player, he's not going to create disruption. He's not going to get a bunch of sacks. He's not going to get a lot of TFLs, but you're not going to move him. All right, he's just so physically strong. And then another thing that he brings to the table is he's really good at batting down passes. Like, he has had a number of PBUs as a defensive tackle in Steelers training camp practices. So to see these, young defensive linemen, these rookie defensive linemen out there tonight is going to be a lot of fun for Steelers fans, I think. So who's your pick? Let me know down there in the comment section. Who gets the first sack of the night tonight? Will it be Jack Sawyer? Will it be Derek Harmon? Will it be Y.A. Black? Will it be somebody else? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. But my money is on the first-round pick out of Oregon, Derek Harmon. All right, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Of course, later tonight, we will be going live on this channel, Steelers Talk Watch Party, the first one of the year. It all starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so click that subscribe button and join us later this evening.